Welcome back. As you know, I am Eli the Computer Guy here for the Daily Blob, where we talk about the fact that reality might be finally catching up to Elon Musk. I do have to caveat this. I mean, I wouldn't put a $5 bet on it because I'm not sure reality will ever catch up to Elon Musk, but it is a distinct possibility. That's right. It looks like a group of investors with almost $1 trillion in assets is demanding that Elon Musk actually work 40 hours a week as CEO of Tesla. Oh my God, those woke blue hair bastards actually want him to do a full day work week at the company that's made him all of his wealth. And yeah, in a different time period, in a different timeline, this would be an Onion article. But my friends, we're not in that timeline. We're in this particular timeline. Anyway, so I've talked about this a lot before. And actually, I started screaming about this with Jack Dorsey. Anybody followed me for a long time? Remember when I used to scream about Jack Dorsey because Twitter was flailing? Right? He had Square. So he helped found Twitter years ago. Then he got fired from Twitter. He went off and founded Square, which he then turned into Block once it started doing cryptocurrency, basically a monetary transaction system, whatever else. And then for some reason, the board at Twitter thought, hey, you know what would revitalize Twitter? If we brought back a part-time CEO. Right, and so Twitter basically floundered, right? It didn't really seem to have a path forward. It didn't really seem to have a future. While Facebook was taking off and YouTube was taking off and even Snapchat wasn't doing so bad, Twitter was just blah, right? And one of the things I screamed about for a long time is just the fact that they had a part-time CEO, right? Jack Dorsey was at Twitter maybe half the time. He was at Block Square maybe half the time. And then the other half of the time, he was literally going off to Africa for a year. Why is the CEO of two multi-billion-dollar companies going off to Africa for a year? Who knows? Who the fuck knows? It's kind of like when I watch the reviews from Critical Drinker, and he's like, why did this happen to the character? Who knows? They don't explain it. Anyways, right? And so I was screaming about this with Jack Dorsey, right? Again, Twitter, if they really wanted Twitter to be, you know, what it theoretically could be, they needed a full-time CEO. So the way things go in this particular timeline, they went from a CEO running 2 companies to a CEO running like 25 companies. He was like, no, that's not how it goes. But anyways, right, that's one of the big problems we have nowadays, again, with these masters of the universe. They just feel like they just exude value. Again, it's weird. It's weird. I don't understand it. Like so many of these jackasses, they just feel like because they exist, that is value. And that is value on the scale of billions and billions and billions of dollars. Regardless of the work they do. Again, it's amazing with so many of these other publicly traded companies, you will just get these CEOs and they will just get lambasted and they will get driven into the ground and they will get dogged by their board of directors. But in the tech world, again, with these techno kings or whatever else, they are techno royalty or something. So anyways, right, again, I've screamed about that with Jack Dorsey. I used to scream about that with Jack Dorsey. Now Jack Dorsey has basically disappeared. Now you got Elon Musk. Oh, right, Elon Musk is running. Lordy. So he owns most of SpaceX. He's not actually the CEO of SpaceX, somebody else is, but he owns most of it and is pushing that along. He owns Twitter, he owns that outright. He has some CEO doing something. She pops up every once in a while to say that she exists. Right, he's CEO of Tesla, then you got the Boring Company, then you got Neuralink, then you got so many of these other things going on. And that's before he gets into government service, gets into the whole Doge thing. And again, as I said with Jack Dorsey being the CEO of 2 multi-billion-dollar companies, in my view, was asininely stupid. And now we have Elon Musk, as CEO of however many multi-billion-dollar companies he is now the CEO of. And the issue is that there are only so many hours in the day. One of the things that I explained to you folks is that being a CEO is a real job. Just because you do not understand what the job of CEO is, doesn't mean that it's not a real job. And many things that CEOs do, again, on the outside look very fun and exciting and amazing. I wish that was my job. And in reality kind of suck. Again, I've talked about that with like schmoozing, right? Going out to events, going out to parties. You know what sucks? When you're going to multi-million-dollar events and you really just want to go to sleep, right? When somebody hands you a drink at 6 o'clock at night and you just take a moment to stare at that drink and go, fuck, it's gonna be another one of those nights. Well, it ain't gonna end until it starts. Clock, right? Anyways, right, going out there, schmoozing, doing all that kind of stuff is exhausting, is time consuming, is soul sucking, the whole 9 yards, right? And so the issue is, again, when you have somebody like Elon Musk running around being CEO of God knows how many companies at this point, there is really a question of just simply how many hours there are in the day. Now, again, he comes out, and again, being the alpha dog that he is, he's that poodle prancing around in front of the 14-year-old boys talking about, working 120 hours a week and sleeping on factory floors. But here's the deal, bucko. Look, I got my box I've got to poop in upstairs. I'm not as old as Elon Musk. I am a number of years younger than Elon Musk. I literally got in the mail the box I have to poop into. And here's the thing. You get to the point in life when you've got to start pooping into boxes, and working 120 hours a week is not nearly as amusing as it sounds to 14-year-olds. I'm not sure when it actually ever sounded amusing. Again, working that much is brutal. I'm not saying you, again, especially if you're CEO or founder or whatever else, I'm not saying you might not have to do that for some projects. I'm not saying you might not have to do that sometimes. But day after day after day, I mean, it's literally a fucking recipe for a heart attack, right? The longer you work, the more stressed you are, the more likely you are to eat low quality food, the more likely you are not to get the exercise that you need, the more likely you are to have high stress. And this is basically just a damn recipe for a heart attack if you actually do it. And so again, with Elon Musk running all these companies, again, it sounds good on paper. It sounds good to the cult of Musk, but for the rest of us, it sounds just stupid as hell. And anyways, and then you get to Tesla, right? So Tesla, well, it's a $1 trillion company. I'm not quite sure where it is right now. It's like $294 a share. What are Tesla shares as of this moment? Just so we can see, if we look at Tesla stock, it is at $299.58 per share. So if we take a look at it there, you can see that. And basically that means for the 5 days, it is currently down about 14%. So since he started going toe-to-toe with Trump, it is down 15%. If we look at the 6th month, so on the 6th month, it's actually down 23%. If we look at the year to date, it's down 21%. And on the year, though, it is still up 72%. But what a lot of these investors are looking at, and a lot of investors look at, is that it's basically down significantly from its high when it hit, $479 a share back in 2024. So basically, what a lot of investors are looking at right now is the value of Tesla is sinking, right? At the exact same time, from a technical standpoint, Tesla is being eclipsed by BYD. Everybody seems to agree that BYD sells superior electric vehicles to Tesla across the board. And basically, if BYD was allowed to sell in the United States, did not have a 100% tariff on it, put in by the Biden administration. And I screamed about that back then too. But anyways, right, that Tesla would essentially be done overnight. right? So the stock price is down. Technically, there's a company out there that is superior to Tesla. And again, I own a Tesla. I own a Model Y. I never drive it. It's not a very good vehicle. Again, I own a plug-in Escape. The plug-in Escape seems like it was designed for me in mind. It was designed for me to find it to be a comfortable car. I find the Model Y was designed for Elon Musk to think that it was a comfortable car, and strangely enough, I would prefer a car that was actually designed for my preferences. Shocking, shocking. So anyways, again, we have a Model Y. It is simply not again, from a technical standpoint, as an engineer, it might be a superior vehicle. As actually driving the damn thing, I literally never drive my Model Y. I'm the one person in the world that will admit it's not a very good car. And so basically you have this where stock price is going down, sales volume is going down. He's shitting on the entire reputation basically of the brand. They're not coming out with new technology, high quality things. And so basically the investors are having a bit of a snit fit. And so they want him to actually work, shockingly, 40 hours a week. Oh, the blue hairs. We go and we take a look. This is the letter the investor sent. So again, this is a consortium of investors, investment funds that control $1 trillion in assets. And basically, all they're asking is for Elon Musk to work 40 hours a week at Tesla. Now, we heard before that Elon Musk said, I am going to focus on Tesla. And then he literally right after that said, oh, and I'm going to do 1 day a week for the government, and every other week I'm going to do 1 to 3 days a week for the government. And oh, he also does have these other companies that he has to worry about. And I think the investors are getting tired of it. And this also becomes interesting, right? Because I've been talking about the optics of Elon Musk, and I'll be curious to see what politics ends up doing for Elon Musk at the end of the day, where he has been doing, again, a lot of questionable things over the years, but he has gotten a pass for whatever reason. He's violated SEC rules, he's violated the law, he's done a lot of things he shouldn't do, and for some reason the government has overlooked it, right? But here's the thing, the government overlooked Epstein all the way up until the government stopped overlooking Epstein. Get what I'm saying? And so the curious thing now is like with the optics, again, with this whole thing about Elon Musk's drug use, quote unquote, coming out. Now, I don't know Elon Musk, don't know if he does drugs, but it's interesting. All of these media outlets started talking about Elon Musk drug use. And then all of a sudden, there's this big picture of Elon Musk with a black eye because his kid hit him in the eye because Elon Musk told him to. And then all of a sudden, we start hearing these other things about how Elon Musk is crazy. And it's interesting, right? How all of a sudden, there seem to be a large number of attacks on the optics of Elon Musk. And this, of course, is the point in time when Elon Musk decides to go toe-to-toe with Trump. He's a genius. He might not be a very smart genius. Just gonna put it out there, right? So all of a sudden, he starts going toe-to-toe with Trump at the exact same time his public persona is basically being questioned. It does become an interesting question, again, about where that goes forward. And so with this, we have these investors coming together to simply ask him to work 40 hours a week, right? Tesla is why he's worth $400 billion. Isn't it acceptable to ask him to work 40 hours a week? And the interesting thing with this is they bring in the board, right? So the board is the one who actually is supposed to control the company. The CEO is actually only an employee of the board, right? So you have all the shareholders, the people that own equity, the people that own the company. You have a board of directors that have a fiduciary responsibility to the shareholders. The CEO then reports to the board, right? That's how it works. And one of the weird things about this whole Tesla thing is, again, the board. Again, I don't understand. I don't understand any other company that could get away with this idiocy. But the board is absolutely under the control of Elon Musk, right? And basically does his bidding, which is a violation of how things are supposed to work. So what's interesting about this too is not only are they demanding that he works 40 hours a week, but they're also calling attention to the board's failure and what their fiduciary responsibilities are. And that could get very curious over the next period of time. So anyways, this is to the chairperson of the board of Tesla Inc. Attention, blah, blah, blah. Dear Chair Denholm, we, the undersigned, are long-term institutional investors holding approximately 7.9 million shares in Tesla. So 7.9 million times 300. You figure that one out. A lot of money. As with many Tesla shareholders, when we initially invested in Tesla, we took Tesla at its word that its mission was to create a more sustainable future through its visionary development of electric vehicles. And that's another thing to be thinking about with the company, again, what their statements are, right? Tesla isn't a car company, it's a robot company or so, some crap. But again, is that what the investors, the people that bought equity, was that what they are actually told? Is that what they are currently being told? They're like, we thought this was visionary development for electric vehicles. Now all of a sudden you got like dancing robots. What? In the last few months, however, it has become clear to us that Tesla needs certain corporate governance reforms to address deficiencies in the board's oversight of company leadership. The board's deficiencies. Tesla's stock price volatility, declining sales, as well as disconcerting reports regarding the company's human rights practices and a plummeting global reputation are cause for serious concern. Moreover, many issues are linked to Mr. Musk's actions outside of his role as techno-king and chief executive officer at Tesla, including his high-profile role as an architect of the U.S. Department of Government Efficiency. Additionally, Mr. Musk's outside endeavors appear to have diverted his time and attention from actively managing Tesla's operations. I think that's pretty clear to say, yeah. As any other chief executive officer of a publicly traded company would be expected to do. So basically what they're saying is he's the CEO, he should be doing the work that is expected of a CEO. You are allowing him to fail at his duties, which is a failure of the board. For many years, the amount of time CEO Musk has devoted to managing Tesla has been constrained because of his multiple privately held companies and other outside endeavors. The current crisis at Tesla puts into sharp focus the long-term problems of the company stemming from the CEO's absence, which is amplified by a board that appears largely uninterested and unwilling to act in the best interest of all Tesla shareholders by demanding Mr. Musk's full-time attention on Tesla. The board is failing at its fiduciary legal responsibilities to the shareholders of the company. The company recently announced the formation of a special committee to evaluate Mr. Musk's compensation, a new bylaw that limits directors' legal accountability to shareholders, as well as a delay in Tesla's annual shareholder meeting. As events this year have transpired, the gaps in Tesla's corporate governance have become increasingly troubling. We believe this moment offers an opportunity for the board to proactively address these concerns. Therefore, we urge the board to announce the following reforms. Reform 1, establish clear time commitments for any new CEO compensation plans. So if the CEO is going to get paid or going to get any compensation, they got to show up to work, right? Any new compensation plan offered to CEO Musk should include a commitment to devote a minimum of 40 hours per week to the management of the company. Though CEO Musk has stated he will be, quote, allocating far more of his time to Tesla, likely this month, he still plans to, quote, spend a day or two on government matters for as long as it's useful. CEO Musk has previously stated he divides his time between his companies by focusing on predominantly one company on one day. These statements suggest that he is likely to spend only 1 day a week at Tesla. And again, if you look at basic math and everything he's supposed to deal with, yeah. So basically, Tesla's turnaround is going to come from a CEO that's only going to be working 1 day a week at Tesla. Do you believe Tesla's board is looking out for the shareholders' value? Kind of hard to say yes. There's some more stuff there, but we'll skip over. Quote, adopt and disclose a clear succession plan for management. Again, if Elon Musk falls over from a heart attack, which is likely, what the hell happens next? Literally, we don't know. We believe the company's current disclosure regarding the CEO succession plan does not assure investors that the board is adequately prepared, if necessary, to bring on a new individual with the appropriate skill set to execute Tesla's business plans. And again, this is a tool that Elon Musk can use to remain in power, right? If there is no viable successor to Elon Musk at Tesla, ergo, you have to keep Elon Musk as CEO of Tesla. So one of the things these investors are asking for is, what the hell is the succession plan? If you have nobody to bring into the CEO position, you don't even know who you could bring into the CEO position, you obviously cannot fire Elon Musk. If you cannot fire Elon Musk as the board of directors, you are failing in your fiduciary responsibility to the shareholders. The board should adopt and disclose a succession plan that includes the goals of the plan, strategies on internal candidate development, and the development of a talent pipeline, as well as the criteria for when an outside search firm should be engaged. There's some more stuff. Another point, appoint at least one new, truly independent director with no personal ties to other board members. Again, this is one of the problems with the Tesla board, is it is incredibly incestuous. The amount of connections between these board members is idiotic. How is it legal? I don't know, to be quite honest with you. On May 16th, Tesla disclosed the addition of John Hartung, soon to be the former chief financial officer of Chipotle, as its newest director. The disclosure also noted that Mr. Hartung's son-in-law is currently employed by Tesla. As previously raised by some of the signatories of this letter, Tesla's current board members have extensive business and personal relationships with the CEO, compromising the board's independence. There's a bunch more words. We'll skip over those. We are concerned that the board's delay over the last few months may already be giving way to long-term damage to Tesla's reputation. Again, the interesting thing here, they're not attacking Musk, right? Musk has proven he don't give a damn about the SEC or laws or any of that kind of stuff. What's interesting about this particular letter, this isn't directly going after Elon Musk. This is actually targeting the board. And again, the board, if they don't do things right, their asses can wind up in prison too. And so one of the interesting questions here is just, Elon Musk may be willing to go to the ends of the earth in order to do whatever he wants. How far are their board members willing to go? Damage to Tesla's brand is evidenced by the company's stock price falling more than 24% since its peak in December 2024, its Q1 sales falling 13% this year versus the same period a year ago, and calls for divestment both in Europe and in the US. Concerns regarding Tesla's poor corporate governance have become increasingly pronounced, most recently with Tesla's announced bylaw amendment that curtails its shareholders' ability to hold directors accountable for breaches of fiduciary duty. Isn't that a class act out of Tesla? Right? They're actually trying to change the bylaws of the corporation to limit how much power the shareholders have over the board. Since the board has unilaterally adopted measures that weaken shareholders' rights, it is even more important for the board to adopt reforms that strengthen corporate governance and protect shareholder interest. And I have a whole bunch of the people, I don't know, 10 or 12 folks here that signed the dotted line that, again, control about $1 trillion in funding. And so this is curious. This is curious. Again, this is the kind of thing I've been arguing for, again, a long time. I started arguing about this, again, with Jack Dorsey. Before you think I'm all anti-Elon Musk, which I kind of sort of am at this point, but I felt this way back with Jack Dorsey, right? Jack Dorsey running two companies was absolutely idiotic. Having Elon Musk try to run however many companies he's trying to run at this point, again, there's just simply so many hours in the day. The CEO's job is a real job, and the being a board member is also a real job. They are compensated well for being board members, and for them to basically be turning a blind eye to the idiocy of Elon Musk while Tesla flails, I would argue, right, is an absolute failure of their fiduciary responsibilities. And so in this modern world where Elon Musk is picking a fight with Trump, and again, Trump, you hit Trump, he will hit you twice as hard. He's not going to build alliances. He's not going to find legal ways to do what he's trying to do. He's not going to do any of that. He's just going to fucking hit you twice as hard. Preferably with a baseball bat, he found, right? Again, we're seeing that with the anti-ICE riots in California, right? There's basically sending in ICE to pull out illegal immigrants in the most visible, obnoxious way possible, basically instigating protests and riots, right? And now they're talking about sending in the Marines, right? It's not simply the police officers dealing with it. It's not simply he literally used an incredibly little used law that allows him to activate the National Guard. So he's actually activated, again, the U.S. military against these protesters and rioters. But beyond that, so sending the National Guard in is going a little far, let's be honest. But now, with Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, literally saying that Marines have been put on alert. Trump is willing to send U.S. Marines in to murder American civilians that are protesting. Right? This is how far Trump is willing to go to pretend what a big-ass puppy dog he is. Think about that. Again, think about what Trump has been doing for 4 months. Four. Now you have Elon Musk, right? This big, beautiful piece of crap, bill that's gone through. Right? Basically, Elon Musk literally targets any Republican senator that votes for it. Basically, Elon Musk says that he will use his money to try to get them kicked out of office. Elon Musk is now talking about like the American Party. I guess we'll talk about that some other video. Literally, he's saying the American people have spoken. There should be an entirely different party that he wants to fund and spin up. Then, again, he pulls out the Epstein files against Trump, whatever the hell that means, I don't know. I'm just saying, like if they're talking about sending the U.S. Marines into California, and Elon Musk has pulled all this crap on Trump in like days, in a few days, it's gone this far. How hard would it be for Trump to put a little extra pressure on the SEC to find whatever weakness is there? And again, a lot of times with, again, people like Elon Musk, it's easy to focus on Elon Musk, right? You can't bend Elon Musk. You can't break Elon Musk, which may be the case. That may be the case. Here's the thing. There's a board of directors. I'm pretty damn sure you can snap those motherfuckers in half pretty quick, though. You start putting jail time on the table in front of them. You start putting on them basically having all of their assets froze, basically going into bankruptcy. And again, that's the thing, is what if any federal lawsuits go against them, that will then open them up for private lawsuits. Basically, you have somebody from Trump's SEC saying, hey, I think we should make a deal. Here's the deal. You can say no. And let me explain to you what will happen when you say no. Well, we're going to use this, right, to basically freeze all of your assets since we believe your finances have been used for illegal transactions. On top of that, we're going to launch these federal felony investigations, and I'm pretty sure we can throw you into prison for about 10 years. And once your assets are frozen, and once we're suing you for this, it would appear to me, I could be wrong, but it would appear to me that the investors in Tesla would have a right to privately sue you into the ground. So here's the thing, you can say no. And this is gonna play out. How long do you think this is gonna take? How much money? How much do your lawyers cost? Do your lawyers, they cost about $1,000, $2,000 an hour? How many man hours do you think these cases will take? You think you can get out of that for less than $50, $100 million in legal fees? So we're just gonna tie you up, let's say for about the next decade in lawsuits and the rest of it. It's gonna cost you $50 to $100 million, even if you win. And when you come out, your name's gonna be worthless. Your name is gonna be dirt. So you can say no, and that's a situation. Or you can play a little wiffle ball with me. How do you play a little wiffle ball's easy? Wiffle ball's easy. Wiffle ball's fun. Nobody gets hurt with wiffle ball. You want to play some wiffle ball? If you're a board member, do you want to play rugby when the other side has plate mail armor on? Or do you want to play wiffle ball? I'll play wiffle ball. I'll admit it. I'll play wiffle ball. Maybe that's just me. So yeah, it's interesting how all these different things are floating around. And again, the curious thing for us in the technology industry is Elon Musk is just such a force of gravity. Used to be pretty decent. Not always great, but at least pretty decent. Seems to be getting worse by the day. Again, pushing electric cars forward. Again, pushing things like autonomous vehicles. Again, the whole full self-driving hasn't exactly worked out, but it was a dream. He sold a dream better than he actually produced a product, but it was a good dream, right? Again, you have SpaceX, you have Starlink. There's so much of this that pushed our industry forward, right? The idea that you can dream, that hard dreams can become a reality. How many folks has he pushed to be successful just by his existence? And again, the problem that we're seeing now, though, is again, that whole thing with the being a force of gravity is he decides to fire 75% of Twitter employees. And then Mark Zuckerberg's like, that sounds good. And he fires like 20,000 people and everybody else starts firing 20,000 people, right? Elon Musk starts doing things and then other people start doing those things in the tech industry, which aren't necessarily the best. And so it is curious to be thinking about, like, what happens if Elon Musk gets destroyed? What happens to XAI? Again, this is a big thing. Like AI right now, big. But again, it's all inertia, right? Things go up. Things are up today because they were up yesterday. They'll go up tomorrow because they were up today. Here's the thing. What if Elon Musk is just taken out of the equation? Whether it's a heart attack, whether he goes to jail, whether he's banned from being CEO ever again in his life. What happens to something like XAI, right? XAI, they're spinning up, I think it's millions of servers, God knows how many GPUs. And again, each one of these GPUs is $40,000, right? So there's like $10 billion going into Memphis, right? And so you have all these people competing for GPUs and all that kind of stuff. What happens if Elon Musk goes down? Literally, what happens to XAI? What happens to XAI without Elon Musk? Does XAI essentially go bankrupt? What happens when that amount of demand for AI processors and the rest of it disappears from the market in the blink of an eye? What happens when that demand disappears from the market in the blink of the eye at the exact same time the President of the United States thinks putting 145% tariffs on China is a good idea? Right? And again, we're only in a 90-day law. We're less than a 90-day law. When he put that law in, that was a couple of weeks ago. So we're at like a 70-day law as I do this video. We could get 145% tariffs again. What does that kind of thing do to the demand curve? These are the things that Eli, the computer guy, ponders. So what do you think about this? What do you think about these woke blue hair investors demanding Elon Musk work 40 hours a week at Tesla? What do you think about the attacks going after the board of directors, not necessarily Elon Musk himself? And what do you think about all of this in this particular time period? Again, it's amazing as you see high flyers, whether it's companies or people, and there will be people and companies, and they will do things and they should crash and burn. Again, not even being snarky, not even being mean. You're like, oh, that's gonna fail. And yeah, again and again and again, they'll succeed and everything will be fine. It'll be like, we just won't understand. You're like, what? But then the funny part is sometimes you'll have the same people and they'll do just one stupid thing. They did a stupid thing, but it wasn't that big a deal. And honestly, compared to all the other stupid crap they've done in life, this is the least of the concerns. But it's a different time period, it's different people, it's different circumstances, and that's the thing that kneecaps them. I don't know. What do you think is going to happen to Elon Musk at the end of the day? I have no idea. I have no idea. Again, if this was a sane world, I'd say he'd go to prison. But we've proven this has not been a sane world for a long time. So anyways, put your thoughts down below. How dare they try to make him work 40 hours a week? Anyways, with that, see y'all later.